Hello BookTube, I'm Zina and this is Beating Around the Books. Today I want to do a tag video and this is Katja Weinert's first original tag, the Discworld Books tag. Did I get the name right there? I think it was the Discworld Books tag. This is to mark the beginning of the read-along of Going Postal that I've already announced, and Katja obviously has as well. This was supposed to go up before our first live chat, which was a general chat about the Discworld and how we came to it. I should probably mention the co-hosts, yes. So Katja Weinert is the main organizer of the read-along, and the co-hosts are Scott from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot and Rosie Cockshut. Anyway, so in the chat, in the live chat, we talked about general stuff about the Discworld, and the read-along has now started, but most people have only just begun. So if you would like to still join, there's time. I'm going to link the Discord link underneath, I think. Or, you know, I'm going to link to Katja's announcement video as well, because that one has all the information. Anyway, regardless of that read-along, this tag has really cool questions, and I think, it can be done whether you're a Discworld fan or not, and whether you're taking part or not in this read-along. So, let me find the questions. Oh, there they are. Okay, so here are the prompts. They're all based on sort of different, how do you say this, different narrative strands of the Discworld, like the different types of series that you can get into. So first, The Witches. What is your favorite story where the so-called odd folk are far kinder than normal folk? Had a bit of a difficult time finding an answer for this, but this is my best attempt at it. It is Milkman by Anna Burns. Now here we have our protagonist. What's her name again? Well, she doesn't have a name, but is it Middle Sister? Yes, Middle Sister. And she talks a lot about how the sort of people around her in her community view her as a bit of a weirdo and an odd one out for some behaviors that they don't understand, one of which is reading while walking, and how the community over time becomes more and more sort of hostile towards her, and I think some person even tells her that she is now beyond the pale and she has nobody to blame but herself because she wouldn't stop with her weird behavior. And apart from that, she also sort of speaks about some other members of the community who are also in one way or another, what's the word? Stigmatized, marginalized. And, it's all about sort of conformity and the consequences of not conforming to certain expectations, I guess. I think that's good enough. I'll leave it at that. Okay, prompt number 2. The City Watch, your favorite police procedural or sleuthing story where the heroes create nearly as much drama as the villains. Again, don't really read much about that sort of thing, and also don't watch police procedurals. I should mention that Katja stresses the fact that she's asking about stories, not necessarily books. So if you want to talk about TV shows or whatever, feel free. So my best answer is a Terry Pratchett one, is a Discworld one, and that is Snuff, which theoretically could have worked for the first prompt as well. So here we have Commander Vimes, who is the commander of the Ankh-Morpork City Watch, and he's on holiday, but he doesn't seem to get any time to relax because he finds a body somewhere. I think, was it in his wardrobe? I'm not sure. Anyway, he finds a body. And because this is not within his jurisdiction, you know, things go quite wrong because he also cannot stop his own sort of instincts of still going, you know, trying to investigate the crime. And yeah, I think that fits quite well. And apart from it being, you know, your usual Discworld fun, it also tackles some rather more serious themes. So yeah, that's one thing that I really appreciate about his later novels. And yeah, I can definitely recommend it, although it's not the one I would start with if you're reading the City Watch. Okay, number 3, death. What is your favorite story that moves away from painting death as life's ultimate villain? Now, of course, the easiest one would be to say, you know, any of the death novels in Discworld, but that would be, you know, I'm already cheating on this tag like twice by using Discworld. So instead, my answer for this one is the only non-bookish answer, and it's a bit of a downer. It is The Sea Inside, Ma Adentro, I think is what it's called in the original. A film by Alejandro Amenabar, which starred Javier Bardem, and it is based on the life of Ramon Sampedro. So it's based on a real life story, I guess, and he became quadriplegic. Is that what how you say it? Quadriplegic? As a young man after an accident. He was a writer, and he subsequently fought for, I think, almost 30 years for his right to assisted suicide. So, as you can imagine, this is not an easy film to watch, but I thought it was fantastic. It moved me, it left me it left me lost for words, which I'm not usually. I remember watching it with a friend, and I think we walked out of there and we didn't talk for possibly half an hour because we were both so caught up in our own thoughts about the film. For me, one of the reasons was also that it came to me at a certain time that I was thinking about these questions quite a lot, about, you know, well, assisted suicide and the right to that sort of thing. And well, and in his case, of course, you know, is that, you know, he couldn't take his own life anymore without assistance. It's a heavy one, but I can recommend it if you feel like you can take that sort of topic on, if you haven't seen it. I mean, I think it was quite successful, actually. I think it won an Oscar for like foreign language film or something. I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, recommend it. Number 4, Moist von LIPWIG. What is your favorite story featuring the ultimate anti-hero? So I don't know, is it, I think this tag is doing this to me, right? This thing like, you know, don't think of a pink elephant sort of thing. So I just continually think of Discworld novels. I mean, my first favorite one was RINCEWIND, who is so far from a hero. He's absolutely hilarious, you know, he just runs away from any danger, but somehow still finds himself in these sort of, you know, situations that kind of require a hero. So he's the reluctant hero, I guess. But to be perfectly honest, I do think my actual favorite one is Moist von LIPWIG from this series anyway. And yeah, I couldn't think of anything else, so that is my answer. I know it's a bit stupid, isn't it? But anyway, he's also kind of a reluctant hero as well, and he's a bit of a morally grey character, which I appreciate. Number 5, Rincewind, The Wizards. What is your favorite story featuring eccentric academics or academic institutions? So we have one more Discworld novel, which is Unseen Academicals. Ooh, it's very shiny, sorry. I think this is one of my favorite ones that focus on unseen university, because it mixes so many fun elements about, you know, like one part is the, you know, obviously the absolute ridiculousness of their eccentricities of these different academics in here, but then also it basically speaks about the development of football in well, on the Discworld. I think maybe you can see it if I look. There's the librarian orangutan with the ball here, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's great. I don't think it's a good starting point for Discworld though. And my other answer, because I wanted to not continually mention Discworld, is Stoner by John Williams. So this is all about a rather unremarkable person living a sort of unremarkable life. William Stoner is you know, he goes to university. He originally is supposed to study something about agriculture to then take over the family farm, but then takes some literature class and finds the sort of deeper meaning and importance in art, and then continues to to change his major to literature, and then he becomes a lecturer at university. So the whole, you know, we're following his whole sort of life, and I guess trials and tribulations. It's an incredibly quiet novel, but I really loved it, and lots of people did, but I just find it so difficult to actually sell, because nothing much happens. Anyway, yeah, that's my other answer for this one. Ooh, I'm surprised to see that I bought this in Stuttgart. I thought I'd had it for longer. Anyway, and the fifth question, no, it's the sixth question. Tiffany A. King and the Knack-Mack FEEGLES. What is your favorite coming-of-age story? I've only just mentioned this before. It's Paul Auster's Moon Palace. I read this at the right time, when I was around 18 myself. I think it was quite unconventional for what I was used to reading, which kind of impressed me more than other novels I may have read of a of a similar ilk, like a coming of age story. And that might be the reason why it's stuck in my head much more than other stories like this. And yeah, it caused me to go on a sort of huge Paul Auster phase. There's quite a lot of his books here. Well, actually not, well, behind there. The row behind these two modern classics there. Which has now ended. Not that I have anything against Paul Auster either. But yeah. I guess it was one of those, right, you know, the right book at the right time. So whenever I think of coming of age, this is like literally the only one that springs to mind, and then I just sort of blank, even though I'm sure I've read plenty more. Okay, so that is not it, sorry. That is it with the physical books I have. The last question, question 7, is Discworld. What story has some of the best world building elements you can think of? when I think of world building, I tend to think of fantasy, or I guess sci-fi, but I've read more as fantasy. And one that I quite enjoyed was, well, I haven't finished it yet, but is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman, if that's how you pronounce her name. I've read them all as an ebook, so I'm going to insert a picture here. So the Invisible Library is some sort of, I guess, shadow institution that trains so-called librarians, but really they're more like spies and thieves, I guess. And we have this sort of, the story world has this sort of, takes this sort of idea of a multiverse. And the library basically exists between all these different universes that are possible, and it has access to them, to those other worlds or universes. And they have different levels of technological development, but also different levels of influences of chaos and order. Chaos and order have their own sort of agents, I guess, in these worlds, who are sort of, influencing the way things go in the world. And this is very difficult to explain. But what makes this then so interesting is, I guess it's really kind of a fantastic playground for Cogman to kind of go, oh, what kind of world do I want to set this story in this time? Right, let's send them into so and so a thing. So it's kind of, to me, it seems like a really, I don't know, a clever idea to open up all these possibilities for yourself as a writer. Now, this is not like, how do you say it? Not anything world moving, whatever you would say, but it's a very, very entertaining kind of read. What I didn't explain was what the library actually does. So they then secure or steal and books from these different worlds, and there's usually sort of books. Often they're classics, but they're different versions of these classics that came about within the specific environment that this world has provided for the writer to write. So there's variations on all these different texts, and they try to steal those and then store them within the library, because that, for some reason, has a stabilizing power towards all these universes. I know, a bit wild, but anyway. I think it's quite fun. I haven't read the last one. I usually keep them for like when I just want some sort of, fun, easy romp. And who knows, I might pick it up soon. Okay, so that is the end. We just have basically prompt 7a, which is based on the fact that in Going Postal there is no chapter 8. Chapter between 7 and chapter 9 is called 7a. And obviously that prompt is to tag people. Now, I think I didn't actually find 7 people to tag, but a good 5. So, first things first, Fraser Simon's Springboard Thought, because he has joined our read-along to read his very first Discworld novel. So, of course, I had to tag him. Then Bethan Brunninger-Sokula. I'm so bad at this name. I do apologize if I butchered it. I'm not actually sure if she reads Discworld. I don't trust my memory now, but I do know that she likes fantasy, and so I feel like she probably does, and if she doesn't, she'd probably like this. Then I want to tag Michelle Lexi, who's also joined the read-along, if I'm not mistaken. And Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, who said she would very much like to join us, but she's already got too much on her plate in terms of reading. But, you could maybe do the tag anyway, right? And then lastly, Mark from Book Time with Elvis. I have absolutely no clue if he reads the Discworld, but he was complaining about the fact that he hasn't been tagged recently. So I thought I'll tag him. All right. Let me know if you like the Discworld or if you're going to join us. And speak to you later. Bye bye.